Okay, here we are in Amicalola Falls. We just got here ready to hike the trek to the hike in. And it's been raining here for the past, I don't know, like 20 hours or so. So the falls is really flowing heavy. But we got a little pause in the rain.
Yes. So we have to get to the inn. So we will catch up with y'all later.
This is Amicalola Falls State Park. The park is home to Amicalola Falls, a 729-foot waterfall that is the highest in Georgia. I'm standing on a bridge that goes right over the river. It is considered to be one of the 7 natural wonders of Georgia. An 8-mile trail that winds past Amicalola Falls and leads to Springer Mountain, famous as the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail, begins here in the park. Amicalola Falls State Park is the access point for the eco-friendly Foote Hike In, which is where we're headed today. This trail that we're on here is a loop trail off of the Appalachian Trail approach trail, and it's going to take us to the Foote Hike In. We've had a very rainy past 20 hours here up in Ellijay and Amicalola Falls, and now we've got the fog and so forth coming up off the hills down below us. Beautiful. Because of all the rain here, the trail's been kind of muddy and slippery, and we've crossed a number of rivers. This is one of them, and they're all flowing pretty strongly. It's really been kind of nice to see and cross all these rivers. We've seen some interesting things along the trail as well. We found a tree here that was trying to eat a sign that had been nailed on it years and years ago. And we also found this really odd looking branch that was growing down from a tree instead of growing up. That was pretty interesting. This was kind of cool to see this little stream right crossing our trail ahead of us. And then we found this log with this cool fungus growing all over it.
This is an example of the green blaze on the trail that we've been following to get to the inn. This is a very nice natural staircase, and the mile marker on the right says 4.3. So we only have half a mile to get to the inn. Okay, so here's the inn. It's the Foote Hike In, which is an environmentally friendly lodge, and the only way to get here is to hike 4.8 miles.
The inn has a variety of environmentally friendly features. To begin with, it's built with wood, including wood siding on the exterior and wood paneling on the interior. Some of the wood, like the floorboards, are from recycled barns. It's warm here in Georgia in the summertime, and there's no air conditioning, so the roof has very large overhangs to provide shade, and the public meeting rooms are 2 stories high with lots of windows that all open to provide plenty of cross ventilation. If you look closely, you may see that the roof has many solar panels on it that provide about 70% of the electricity the inn uses.
When you reserve a room at the Hike In, you get one like this. It's about 8 by 12 with bunk beds and lots of heavy-duty hooks to hang your gear on. When you arrive, you receive a cloth tote bag that has a set of sheets, a shower towel, and a washcloth. Everyone gets to make up their own beds using these sheets and the blankets and pillows that are provided in the room by the inn. The paneling is not painted. It's another feature of the environmentally friendliness of the inn, which is now 20 years old. So it hasn't been painted, but if it would have, they would have had to repaint it at least 2 times in the last 20 years.
All the guests share a common bathhouse, and everything goes into a composting system. The toilets sit over big composting tanks, and it is an interesting experience to sit on them. The compost tank has a continually run vent fan that draws air down through the toilets. The constant airflow evaporates all the liquid and also eliminates any odor from coming up into the bathhouse. But it also means that when you sit on the toilet, there is a constant breeze sucking down everything on the toilet. The sign provides additional insight. It says, "Please put the lid down. These composting toilets are sweet smelling because they operate with a continuous ventilation system. If the lid is left up, all the warm air in the bathroom will be drawn into the compost system and you will have a chilly experience. Please close the lid. Stay warm." Did you know some items will not break down in these composters and must be removed? Examples of what does not belong in the composting toilets: cigarette butts, cell phones, fruit peels, diapers, wallets, and keys. If you need something retrieved from a composting toilet, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction.
Your room reservation comes with dinner and breakfast. It's served family style in the dining hall. Serving family style along with only taking what you can eat reduces food waste to almost zero. After every meal, the staff gives the diners either a happy face or a sad face, depending on the cleanliness of everyone's plate. The group we were part of earned 2 happy faces. Leftover dinner is used to provide bag lunches for hikers or lunch for the staff on the next day. So the kitchen at the Hike Inn only produces a half a bag of garbage per week as a result of the take only what you can eat policy.
Another thing that reduces food waste is that leftover vegetables are served to the worms for the inn's vermiculture or worm composting. The worms eat the leftovers and produce great fertilization for the garden at the Hike Inn.
The inn faces east, so the sunrise the next morning was spectacular and really worth getting up for. They told us during dinner that if the sunrise was going to be good, they would beat a drum, and they did.
On the way back to Amicalola State Park, we continued on the loop trail for a mile until we got to the AT approach trail, so that we could hike more of it. After one long descent, I turned and took this picture of what we just hiked down. We decided to buy a bag lunch from the Hike Inn that included a sandwich, homemade trail mix, and a homemade cookie they call the Amicalicious cookie, which is made with peanut butter, oatmeal, chocolate chips, and M&Ms. We had ham for dinner, so the sandwich the next day would be a ham sandwich made from the leftovers from the night before. Expecting a normal size cookie, we ordered an extra one so that we'd each have our own and split everything else. To our surprise, the cookie was the size of a small plate, but it really was Amicalicious, so we were glad we bought an extra one.
Back in the park, we checked out the very beginning of the Appalachian Approach Trail that'll run from Springer Mountain, Georgia, about 2,200 miles up to Katahdin Mountain in Maine. Thanks for joining us for another great hike.